What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at some eBay auctions and buy it nows that have ended worldwide over the past week. We'll start with sealed product, then we'll move to slabs. But first, a couple housekeeping things. If you're in the spreadsheet, I did the One Piece manga update, so you can go look at all the cards, see how they're doing. The Chopper is actually moved above the Zoro from Wings of the Captain now as the 5th most expensive manga card that we have. Obviously, that's excluding the reprints from PRBO1. So just from the mainline sets, the original manga from each set, it is the 5th most expensive now, only by like I think $7 or something, but it is worth noting. You can go check that out. And then also, I did just want to bring up OP13, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen these cards. I'm not going to do a recap of OP13. You guys can go watch other creators for that, but I do think it's going to be a very good set. Some of these cards are going to be incredibly expensive, but the thing I wanted to bring up, just because I was watching this video by Wasi Plays, just trying to get a better idea of what's actually going on here, and I was reading the comments, and you know, it's funny because when I make a video talking about SPs in One Piece and saying how Bandai's incredibly lazy, they reuse their artworks, I don't think that they're interesting, I get castrated in the comments. I have gatekeepers telling me that I know absolutely nothing about One Piece, the texture, I'm missing everything, blah, 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 blah. I go to Wasi's video, and the literal top comments with the most upvotes, 28 here, am I the only one that finds these poses of the mangas and anniversary rares, etc. very boring? I've seen that Shanks pose like 5 times now, and I agree. Like, they just continue to use the same pose, and I think it is ridiculous. Like, there's no reason Bandai, especially considering they're only like 13 sets into One Piece. It's not like they have 100 or 200 sets at this point. There's no reason they should be using the same artwork. They really need to be original. It's getting boring. I can tell that other people, not just myself, like I knew this was going to be a problem eventually. And if they continue to do this, there's going to be more and more people that jump on this train and say that they don't find these interesting. So you can only change the background so many times, and you're only going to appeal to so many people by doing that, right? So I hope in the future Bandai starts to change this. They really give us original artworks, whether it's maybe going outside of what's drawn in the manga and starting to create kind of unique pieces for some of these sets. I think that's what they're going to eventually have to do. Now, when it comes to the manga cards, I don't really mind that they use basic artworks. Like, I think that's fine, just because the uniqueness of the manga card, first of all, is the rarity, but also just there's nothing like it in the TCG world. So I think the mangas are fine, but the SPs, you know, you need to have some level of depth, that whether it's going to be in the SPs, the SSPs, the alternate arts, whatever, you have to keep people intrigued and entertained. And I just think it is genuinely lazy on the part of Bandai that they continue to use the same artworks. I digress though, but it's good to see that other people in the community that maybe have been here longer are starting to recognize the same thing. So that's all I'm going to say there. We'll start off by looking at this piece here, and I know this isn't a sealed product, but it's an uncut sheet, and these are pretty cool. This looks like it's maybe from OP05 because we have the Luffy, the Captain, the Trafalgar Law mangas in here. This sold for $10,500 or best offer. I did put this into 130 point, and it did sell for $10,500. The seller also listed another one, which I think was like a championship or a promo uncut sheet, whatever it was, for like $20,000. It hasn't sold yet, but very cool piece. Very rare to see something like this pop up. Now, next up, we will look at a couple cases selling. This is OP12 Legacy of the Master, $1,500 for 12 cases. So does that come out to $125 a case? I think that's a little bit closer to where OP12 should be. Last week, I'm pretty sure we saw a case sell for about $140 per box. I think these could potentially go even lower. I wouldn't be surprised if these get to like $100, $110 after release if people are trying to dump product. I mean, if OP11 got to around 115, 120 bucks, and you guys in Europe and other parts of the world could probably find it even cheaper than that, then surely OP12 is going to get there, because I don't think OP12 is as good as OP11. Now, next up, we have a case of Royal Blood. 12 boxes, this is basically selling $100 per box, a little bit higher than that. Pretty much in line with market right now, but if you can buy a case for basically the same price as a loose box, that seems kind of like a no-brainer if you're going to be putting that much money into a certain set. So good on whoever picked this up. Also, it kind of seems like this was the last maybe case that the store had. Simply unlucky eBay store. It's a very large seller out of California. So if they're out of cases now, maybe they'll put more up at a higher price. But Royal Blood, we saw this yesterday when I talked about everything in the spreadsheet. Royal Blood, there's a lot less inventory out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if over the next couple months Royal Blood slowly makes a move up to like 110, 115, it's doing a lot better than something like Two Legends, which for the longest time I kind of thought those were fairly close in terms of desirability, but I think at this point Royal Blood is pulling away by a decent amount. Now next up, a case of OP11. This sold for $1,500, and this was also the last one that the store had. This was Icarus Magic out of the US as well, so this is their last case or whatever. Maybe they put more up at a higher price in the future, but OP11, we also discussed that over time. There's a lot less cases and boxes out there now, and we're going to see OP11 move into like the 135, 140, 150 range eventually here. We had a case of OP11 sell as well. This is like an actual photo of the case through Probestein, $1,525, so a little bit higher there. Next up, we had a lot here of some booster boxes. It looks like we have OP05, we have PRB01, then we have Pillars of Strength, I believe that is, EB01, then we have Paramount War? No, Fist of Divine Speed, OP11, and then Royal Blood. So 6 boxes. This is a very bad photo, by the way. Again, guys, like, I talk about this all the time. If you're going to invest in TCGs, you need to know how to offload product in the future. So whether you have connections that you can sell to locally, like an LGS or a whale who's going to be buying product for a rip and ship or something, if you don't have those types of connections, you're probably going to have to sell product online, right? Through eBay, maybe Facebook Marketplace. You have to take good photos. This is a terrible photo. The lighting's awful. It's like zoomed out. It's very difficult to see. You can see there's glare on a couple of these boxes too. Very bad. I imagine if you took better photos, you probably could have got more money for this. Fairly small seller, 79 feedback. So just keep all this in mind too, right? Like if you are going to invest, you need to know how to offload. And part of that is developing the skills of marketing and selling things. So I always point these out in these listings when we see them, just so you guys can hopefully learn from that as well. Next up, a couple Romance Dawn boxes, and we're just going to end the sealed product portion of this video with these Romance Dawn blue bottoms. They're going crazy. This one sold for 1,670 euros, and this was coming out of Germany, I believe. So that's like $1,944 USD approximately. Massive sale there. I guess I didn't bring up another one, but there were multiple sales of Romance Dawn around $1,800, $1,900. And the fact that this one, too, I should say, is in Europe, which normally in Europe, you guys were able to buy these boxes a little bit cheaper. So if the auctions, not just in North America, but other parts of the world are getting up to that $1,800, $1,900 USD range, it's more than likely going to be very difficult to find these boxes anywhere cheaper than that at this point. Now, I guess we'll just move into some of the slabs. Now, you guys already saw this Trafalgar Law Black Label first up. This is from PRB01, so it's the reprint, not from OP05. This sold for 5,000 Australian or best offer. I put this into 130 point and it sold for 4,280 Australian, which I think was pretty close to like 2,800 USD. I could be off there with the conversion, so you guys let me know in the comments down below. We also had a Zorro. This is the one from PRB01 as well, BGS10 Black Label, and this sold for the exact same price, 4,280 Australian. So I believe it was about 2,800 USD, maybe slightly less than that. But again, I'm not a human calculator. I get things wrong all the time. So you guys make sure to do the conversions if you are curious. Now, next up, we have a BGS10 non-black label. This is the Zorro from Wings of the Captain, so not the reprint. $1,325 on auction through ZNG Emporium out of the US. You can see there is a fairly large difference between just a regular BGS10 and then the black label, normally going for about 2 to 3x as much. After that, I know I don't talk about promos that often, but I did want to throw this one in here because it is a fairly large sale. We have the Kaido Championship 2023 first place PSA 10. This sold for $15,000, so a massive sale there. I think that is the most expensive card we're going to see on the list this week. Now, after that, we'll go into some more fan favorite characters. We have a Nami. I believe this is the pre-errata from Romance Dawn, BGS10 Black Label. 4,000 euros or best offer. I threw this into 130 point, 3,300 euros. I don't know exactly how much that is in USD, but I think it's getting fairly close to 4K, maybe like 38, 3,900. After that, we had a Luffy BGS10. This is from OP09. This sold for $1,200 through Probestein on auction. After that, another Probestein auction, the EB02 Luffy manga, $1,375. These are definitely coming down a little bit. At release, they're about what, 1,750, 1,800. We have a Japanese first anniversary signature Luffy. This is the alt art from OP05, the Ichiroda stamped one, $1,400. There was also an auction that sold for I think like 1150 or 1175. So this was definitely the higher sale of the two that I saw this week. After that, a couple more Luffys here. We have a BGS10 non-black label. This is the gold Luffy from OP11, $3,997. So this card is still fairly expensive considering that OP11, I mean, it's getting a little bit older in age. There's definitely more of these out there now. I do need to look at the pop reports for this card one day just to see what's going on. But $4,000 there, very strong sale still. And then we also had a PSA 10 of the same card sell for almost 5,900 or best offer. I put into 130 point, 4,250 USD. So I do believe that's about what, 5% higher approximately for the PSA 10 copy compared to the BGS 10, which is normally backwards. Like we've been seeing the BGS 10s either sell for about the same price or a little bit higher than the PSA 10s. It is just one sale though, so I wouldn't look too deep into it. I think these in general are going to be selling for about the same price in the future. Now we have an 05 Luffy. This is not the reprint from PRB01. BGS 10, non-black label, $4,655.70 through ZNG Emporium out of the US. We haven't seen a black label sell in a while. We also haven't seen a PSA 10 of this card sell in a little bit, but it's good to see this card is still selling around $4,500, $4,600. I was hoping it was going to push $5,000, and maybe it still will one day. So if you guys are thinking about picking one of these up, I mean, honestly, live action season 2 coming next year, then season 3, I don't know, like it just seems like One Piece is continuing to get more popular. And if that happens, some of these earlier manga cards could be fairly expensive in the future. Again, not financial advice. I'm not investing in the mangas. I'm just thinking out loud. If we do see a large increase in popularity in the hobby, there is going to be more demand for these cards, and that's probably going to push the prices up. So that's all I'm going to say there. And we'll finish with Gold Roger. We have the BGS 10 black label. This sold for $11,400. I'd showed you guys this listing last week when we did this update. It was still going though. The auction hadn't ended. This is what it ended for. And then we also had another black label sell, 14,000 or best offer. It did sell for the 14,000. This card also sold a week ago though, and I did bring this one up. So I don't know if the first buyer just didn't pay, if the seller has two different ones. I didn't actually double check to see if it's the same card or not. I imagine it is. It looks like the exact same photo. So I don't know what's going on there. Either way, it sold twice, $14,000. If you guys have more information, obviously let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what your favorite auction is of the week. Mine has to be the Gold Roger, just because it is like the most expensive card you can pull out of a booster box right now. And then also the Romance Dawn boxes, if I can find them over here, selling super close to $2,000 at this point on auction in EU, right? So not even in North America. I mean, that is probably not something a lot of people expected to happen this year, myself included. I mean, in a normal TCG market, if we see like 10%, 15% growth on a product year over year, like that's pretty solid. Seeing 100% growth on these blue bottoms, some of these Pokemon boxes, some cards as well. Like it really is crazy the time that we're living in right now, but I'm definitely not complaining because I have a decent amount of exposure to some of this stuff. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed this type of content, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Also, if you're shopping, eBay, TCG Player, Hobbiesville, I have affiliate links down below. Free and easy to use. I get a small kickback, so it's a great way to support me continuing to make these free videos for you guys. Also, I hope you had a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.